Good afternoon, loves. This is your girl, Black and Indigenous American. And yeah, it's another live video actually. I wasn't actually going to do a live video. Excuse me while I wipe this lens. I guess that looks better. I was going to do a live video, but I have the time, and so I'm going to make time to be with you guys. So yesterday when I was talking about this vegetarian cookbook that I purchased, and it was linked to this YouTuber who I've been following, and I didn't give you guys information about the book, so I went ahead and brought this book upstairs so I can show you guys. This is a YouTuber who I believe she's very, very talented in the kitchen. This right here is the business. Her name is Candice Hutchings. Candice Hutchings. And I was introduced to her via YouTube. And the rest is history. Girlfriend that got her a book. She started out in YouTube and now she got a cookbook. And I'm happy for her, and I went ahead and bought this because I want to support other vegan, vegetarian entrepreneurs out there. And so again, she's on YouTube. Again, her name is Edgy, E-D-G-Y, V-E-G. That's one word here on YouTube, so check her out. She's also on Snapchat, Facebook, and Twitter. The Edgy Veg. So anyway, I went ahead and bought this book. I mean, just looking at the pictures alone is just mesmerizing. Like, for real, guys. Like, the only thing that I wish she would have included in this book is options, more options that are not tofu-based or soy-based. So many of her recipes are soy-based. Now, I'm okay with soy if it's not genetically modified, and very little of it, not every day. But yeah, she spells everything out. The tools that you need, staples that you need in your pantry. So people like myself that decide they want to cook something and then realize they don't have anything to cook with. So you have to go out and get all of this stuff to make one dish. So she pretty much spells out everything that you would need for a particular dish, or just main stuff, just staples that you just need to have and keep in your pantry or your fridge at all times. So yeah, she has egg substitutes, which are great. Milk substitutes. And a lot of this is actually making stuff from scratch, like making almond milk from scratch or whatever. And some of these recipes definitely seem very, in my opinion, it seems very intimidating because there's a lot of steps and it takes a lot of time. But she spells out every single thing for someone who wouldn't know what a particular term means. She has a glossary in this book so you can understand what she's talking about. Like, for instance, you have Isabella mozzarella, and that's pretty much raw cashews soaked overnight, rinse, water, tapioca starch, nutritional yeast, coconut oil, freshly squeezed lemon juice, garlic powder, onion powder, and sea salt. Those are the ingredients. So the cheese is pretty much cashew based or nut based. And let's see. Yeah, and that's how you make their cheese, the mozzarella cheese. Also, she has like chicken breast, chicken burgers. So that is actually seitan. So seitan is not soy. So that's definitely an option for people who want to stay away from soy. However, if you're gluten sensitive, that's not going to work. So We have that. I mean, come on, guys. This looks so freaking good. Right? Doesn't that look good? Then she has, you know, her section about bacon, how to make alternative bacon. Now, I've made alternative bacon with mushrooms, and that came out really, really good. But she has coconut bacon, mushroom bacon, rice paper bacon, eggplant bacon. And then she also has ingredients and a recipe on how to make your smoky marinade. So again, everything is pretty much like from scratch. Let's see what else we have. And I mean, just the pictures alone. We have pancakes, right? That looks yummy. Let's see what else I kind of, Southern biscuits and gravy. Come on, y'all. If that doesn't look good for real, like she did it up for this book. So anyway, I did send her a message via Facebook. I didn't get a response, but I was asking, you know, if, you know, she'll create a book or whatever that doesn't have as much soy as an alternative for meat. That would be great. So she may be actually working on it now, but I didn't get a response back. This is Super Bowl chili. Now, I've actually made chili by just taking tomato sauce, you know, out of a jar, organic or whatever like that. And then I would take this brand I mentioned before called No Evil. And they have their sausage version of it. And so I would, you know, I would put that in the pan, you know, make it brown or whatever. And they're in links. So, you know, that's how it comes. And then I would chop it up. Then I'll put it in a saucer with my tomato sauce. And then I'll add cauliflower rice. It's a very low carb meal. And I will put a lot of paprika in it and pepper. And I'll add maybe a tablespoon of olive oil. And that gives it that nice chili flavor, you know. I mean, I don't typically add hot sauce and stuff like that, but you can add hot sauce. And then you can kind of get your chili on, right? Let's see. Another thing that caught my attention is not soy-based. And it's actually cauliflower. So let me find it real quick. Yes, that's buffalo cauliflower wings. You have like 7 things you need to do, 7 ways to make it. So she had a variety of different cauliflower wings. At Cheesecake Factory, if you're familiar with that restaurant, they have an appetizer now that is cauliflower and Korean sauce. And I forgot the name of the dish, but that is an option as well. I tried it, was pretty good. And again, it's not soy, you know, it's actually cauliflower. We got the famous Edgy veg fried chicken. That looks amazing. And that is actually seitan. It's not soy. So that's good. Again, if you are gluten sensitive, right, then that's not going to be an option for you. Seitan. It's Seitan. So, like I said, most of the recipes. Oh, look at this. This is Chick-fil-A Deluxe. She was able to mimic the flavor of Chick-fil-A chicken sandwiches, whatever. And a lot of people love Chick-fil-A, and she was able to mimic it and make it into a vegan option or vegetarian option. And what I love about this book is that she's catering to meat eaters who are used to eating foods like, you know, fried chicken, hamburgers, hot dogs, pizza, you know, that type of stuff. And even though this is not necessarily the healthiest way to eat your food, it's a step in the right direction. You have to wean people off of a lot of the fried foods, you know what I mean? But this is a step in the right direction. And you know what? If she opened up her own restaurant, it will be probably a line down around the building, right? A mile around the building, several blocks down the street if it was in a urban area or urban setting. But I can see if she were to open up a restaurant, it will be insanely crazy. I'm thinking of Slutty Vegan. This is a business that is out of the Atlanta area. I've never tried it, okay? So I can't speak on my experience, but I've been watching a lot of people's opinions and reviews of this place, and they're absolutely in love with it. And again, I wouldn't necessarily say you're going to lose weight eating like that, but you will be going in the right direction. Because again, if you're frying foods and things of that nature and you're eating a lot of fried food, it's still fried, okay? It's still fried. But this, again, is an alternative, especially if you're, you know, and again, this type of book takes a while to prepare the meals. This is not something you can just pop in the oven unless you prepare a large batch of whatever it is and freeze it. And then pop it in the oven when you're ready for it. But if you're making this from scratch, yes, it takes a while. But yeah, you can also create pasta out of zucchini. A lot of people are now on that bandwagon. You can make zucchini noodles. You can make squash noodles or whatever. Zucchini has less carbs, obviously, compared to regular pasta. So that is an alternative. And when I started this whole journey, part of it was to lower my carb intake, and might I add, and I rely heavily on zucchini. And so she does have a recipe to make zucchini pasta in this book. But yeah, she has drinks, desserts. One thing about desserts, when you're doing this whole vegan lifestyle, it's not that hard to make desserts, honestly. And you can't really go wrong, but it's the meat substitutes that you kind of have to watch out for. And a lot of the meat substitutes out there now that taste good and all that are soy-based. So if you're sensitive to soy, or you prefer not to indulge too much with soy-based dishes, then this book has options in here, but most of the options in this book are soy-based. So just keep that in mind. But if you're not sensitive to soy, and you can find non-GMO soy to work with and prepare your meals, here you go. But again, for a lot of these dishes that require frying the foods, you know, you got to think about that. Maybe, just maybe, you can bake it instead of frying. But a lot of her recipes require, like fried chicken or whatever, it requires you to fry the seitan or the cauliflower, okay? And then obviously she has, again, the dessert section. Look how good that looks. And this is vegan. So the ingredients is full fat coconut milk, 1 vanilla bean split lengthwise, organic sugar, raw cashews soaked overnight and rinsed, and unsweetened almond milk. So no dairy. And that looks freaking good. So enough of this book. Check it out. It is on Amazon, and I will put that link in the description box later, not today, if you choose to click on the link in my description box. Or you can just go straight to her YouTube channel if you like. Again, her name is Candice Hutchings, the Edgy Veg. And it says it's carnivore approved vegan recipes, right? So yeah, check her out. And that's all I have to say about this book. Now, I did go to Amazon and I did kind of look at some of the reviews. So this one person said back in 2017, says, wow, just wow. The first recipe we made was a half-baked mac and cheese and it was amazing. I actually had to fight for my portion of the meal and I am the only vegan in the house. Even my 7-year-old, who is extremely picky, couldn't get enough. She even asked when I was going to make it again while we were still eating it, which never happens. Hands down, this is a life-changing addition to my extensive vegan library. And then another person said, I have made a few things so far. The seitan was pretty good and very easy. I see myself going back to that as a protein base instead of so much tofu. The chocolate chip cookie pie I made into cookies that were soft and tasty, even better the next day. The token kale salad is yummy. A lot of the recipes are junk food like, yes, they are. But again, it's a step in the right direction. It's like you wouldn't want to sit around and eat these vegan prepared dishes all the time. This is just when you want to splurge a little bit and you want to eat quality ingredients, then you would consume something like this versus going to McDonald's or getting a Big Mac. Let's see. That is good for when the mood strikes, but not for every day in my house. Okay. She is super cute and I enjoy looking through this book. I gave it 4 stars, not 5, because it will not be a go-to for me. I will keep it and enjoy it. And then someone else says, I had this for over a month now and have not made anything out of it yet, but the pictures are beautiful. There's also pictures of every recipe. It's definitely not for healthy vegan eaters. There's a lot of deep fried food, but it all looks mouth-watering. So, just like I said, this can be your go-to when you kind of want to splurge a little bit, almost like vegan, slutty vegans, or what is it called? Slutty, is it slutty vegans that I was talking about? Yeah, slutty vegan. When you want to indulge, but the ingredients in the food is quality, right? Not a whole lot of artificial crap, but you don't want to eat that all the time because you will put on weight. Like for instance, almond milk. I want to wean myself off of dairy. Like I drink very little milk anyway, like less than half a cup of milk a day, cow milk, okay, just for my cereal. And then I have eggs, for protein, and I'm trying to wean myself off of that. And occasionally I'll have cheese, let's say in my salad, like mozzarella or Parmesan. But I don't eat that every day. I don't eat cheese every day. It's primarily the half a cup of milk, cow milk, which is organic and all that, and and I consume yogurt. So the yogurt I have is cow's milk as well. It comes from cow's milk. So I was trying to say something and I lost my train of thought, but I found it again. So my thing is, in order to get the same amount of protein from, let's say, a cup of regular cow milk to, let's say, a cup of almond milk, you have to have more of the almond milk to get the same amount of protein. And almond milk has a bit more fat in it. Because, one thing about almonds, you have a handful of almonds and that should be it. You shouldn't sit there and eat a whole bag of almonds. So even though almonds are low carbs, right? Low carbs and everything. But as far as protein, you have to have a lot of it to get the same amount of protein. Now, of course, you can find other options for your protein. Maybe hemp. Like sometimes I do put hemp powder in my smoothies for protein. and that has a decent amount of protein. But as far as, consuming yogurt that's made from almond milk, coconut milk, or whatever like that, you have to consume more of it to get the same amount of protein you would get with a simple cup of milk, cow milk. So that type of adjustment I'm still working on, as well as egg substitutes. Now, I don't sit there and eat eggs with the yolk every day. I primarily eat the egg whites and a little bit of yolk for a little bit of flavor, but not yolk every day. At the same time, it is not vegan. It's still animal byproducts that I'm consuming. So again, this right here, for those who like to eat meat, this is a step in the right direction. But I would not rely heavily on a lot of these fried dishes. Maybe the kale salad or roasted cauliflower or something like that with the yeast, nutritional yeast sprinkled on top to give you that cheesy flavor. But yeah, maybe, just maybe, she'll tweak her recipes and maybe come out with a book that caters to people who don't want a lot of soy and don't want to fry. Maybe she'll have more recipes that require baking instead of frying. So that's all I got to say about that book. Check it out. Check out her YouTube channel. She's on to something, okay? You probably noticed the t-shirt that I'm wearing. It says Washington Redhawks. Some of you may have heard about the controversy with the Washington Redhawks. Now, let me give you a little background. If you have not been living under a rock for the last X amount of years, the Washington football team in Washington, D.C. has a very offensive mascot, and also they use a very offensive nickname or whatever for the team. The R skins. And the R word is equivalent to the N word. Let me say that again. The R word is equivalent to the N word. And day after day after day, people still use that R word. And people that should know better, people who come from an oppressed community, should know better. I can't tell you how many protests that I've been to at FedEx Field in Maryland, where the Washington football team plays home games. I can't tell you how many protests I've been to. And you should hear some of the drunks, because when they're at the tailgating parties or whatever, they getting all juiced up before they go into the game. And you should hear some of the things that they say to people like me who are there with our picket signs, with our picket signs. And most of the people are not white, that don't care. And I find it disappointing, because if you had jigaboos or something as your mascot, or blackface as your mascot, you have a problem. But just because it's not pertaining to black folks, then all of a sudden you can't relate. And you walking into the stadium with your mascot image on your shirt with the derogatory term, right? It would have been red, R word. So anyway, myself and a few other people went to this protest, and they gave us these t-shirts, Washington Redhawks. Okay. So apparently this was all over the news, and a lot of people thought what had happened was actually legit, because it's been a whole lot of back and forth with the owner trying to get him to change the name. A lot of high schools have changed their mascots. So why is it so hard to change the mascot for Washington, D.C.'s football team? Why is that? Now, just a history lesson. Washington, D.C.'s NBA team is called the Wizards, I believe. Hold on, let me make sure I'm getting this right, because I don't keep up with sports. So let me see. Yeah, Washington Wizards. Okay. Once upon a time, they were not called Washington Wizards. The franchise was established in 1961 as the Chicago Packers, based in Chicago, Illinois. And I'm reading this from Wikipedia, by the way. And were renamed to Chicago Zephyrs the following season. In 1963, they relocated to Baltimore, Maryland, and became the Baltimore Bullets. Now, let me stop right there. Baltimore, Maryland has its challenges, and violent crimes is one of them. But you're gonna call your basketball team Baltimore Bullets? Taking a name from a previous team of the same name. In 1973, the team changed its name to Capital Bullets to reflect their move to the Washington metropolitan area, and then to Washington Bullets in the following season. In 1997, they rebranded themselves as the Wizards. So from 1973 into 1997, they were known between Capital Bullets and Washington Bullets. And they finally rebranded in 1997 as the Washington Wizards. The Wizards have appeared in 4 NBA finals, blah, 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 blah. So the point is, this is an example of a professional team that changed, not once, but several times. They changed the name of their team, their mascot, the colors, everything. Okay. But for whatever reason, the Washington football team owner refuses to change the name. And see, they can keep the same color. This is just a suggestion. They can keep the same color, burgundy and gold, change the mascot to a hawk, and then call it Washington Redhawks. See how easy that could be? And like I said, high school mascots have changed throughout the years because of how negative and inappropriate and disrespectful it's been. People finally woke up and said, hey, it's time to change. For whatever reason, Washington football team owner, whatever. So anyway, this went down back in December 2017. I never talked about this. And I don't know why I never talked about this. But I was in support of what that group was trying to do. Okay, Washington Redhawks. So anyway, according to Washington Post, this was again December the 14th, 2017. It says, to Rebecca Nagel and the Alliance of American Indian Activists began the elaborate spoof that refueled the Washington R-word name debate Wednesday was a major success. Standing across the street from the George Preston Marshall's Monument in front of RFK Stadium on Thursday, 5 of the activists responsible for creating the Washington Redhawks online campaign that quickly spread across social media spoke about small victories. One of the biggest surprises, according to Nagel, was a statement from the R Word denying the team will be renamed the Redhawks beginning next year. That came within hours of the group posting fake news stories on web pages doctored to resemble legitimate news sources like Sports Illustrated, ESPN, and the Washington Post, among others. Quote, our goal for the campaign was to prove that changing the name would be easy, popular, and powerful, Nagel said. So I think that we as Natives activists have had to fight out this argument of why it should change. And I think we were able to efficiently flip the script, end quote. Tony Wiley, the R Word Senior Vice President of Communications, said the team would have no further comment beyond Wednesday's statement, which read, quote, this morning, the Red R Word organization was made aware of the fraudulent websites about our team name. The name of the team is the Washington R Word and will remain that for the future. R Word owner Daniel Snyder has vowed never to change the name. And then I'm not going to read too much. Anyway, this was an article on Washington Post. Later, I'll either put this in the description box or, you can just research it. All you have to do is put Washington Redhawks in Google search, and then this article will pop up, Washington Post, okay? But anyway, I say all of this because there's a problem, and it's called ego, and it's called insensitive. That's what it's called. And the owner is very quick to have his tokens sitting in the stands or vouching for this team, because I believe they were given some sort of whatever, so they will be okay with them using that name. Now, like I said before, there's plenty of derogatory terms out there. Plenty. That is attached to certain groups of people or certain demographics. Now, I'm using derogatory terms that are supposed to be attached to, dark-skinned, melanated people with afro, kiki curly hair. You know what I'm talking about. People who are Black people, African-American people, African, sub-Saharan people, whatever term you want to use. I mean, we're all adults here. I think we understand what I'm trying to talk about. But if you use jigaboos, the N-word, and all them other derogatory words, black-faced, what have you, and your mascot is someone with a black face painted on, doing the jig at these football games, how long do you think that's gonna last? Come on now, let's be real. How long do you think that's gonna last? But when it comes to Indigenous American people, some of the same people that will have a problem with using any kind of derogatory whatever that's supposed to be associated with Black folks would have an issue with that. Now, Dick Gregory was a strong supporter of Indigenous American rights. He showed up, okay? He definitely showed up. I met him at one of those rallies, actually, at the FedEx Field a few years before he passed away. His son spoke, I think, a year after his father passed away. I can't remember his son's name, but he was also at one of the rallies at FedEx Field. And he gets it. Okay, Dick Gregory gets it. He got it, right? You can also recognize other people's uphill battles, not just focus on your issue and your group and your community and woe is me and we're victims and look at the white man, what the white man did. I'm saying to myself, okay, there needs to be a spotlight on that. But guess what? Here's another group of people that you probably got in your family somewhere in your DNA. Because last time I checked, ain't nobody pure here within the African American community. Pure African American. We talked about this in the last video. But I say this because just recognize when there's something going on that you will be offended. And you have some people that wouldn't be offended. Like, as they say, oh, we're honoring you. We're honoring you. When we have people parading around in headdresses, we're honoring you. No, you're not. You think it's a game. You don't see nothing sacred about it. Nothing. And I think most of the people that don't see nothing going on with this, don't think it's a big deal, they don't understand the spiritual aspect and the honor and the respect that's given to someone who wears a headdress. So wake up, people. Wake up. Okay? Yes, it's a mascot. Yes, it's a slur that offends a group of people. But guess what? Just because it doesn't offend you, that does not mean it's not derogatory. Like, for real. It doesn't. So anyway, I decided to wear this shirt because, like I said, I've never talked about it or me supporting what they were trying to do. But there was a lot of people on both sides that thought it was cool and a great idea, and others that thought it was petty. But it got people talking. And the thing is like, when I first saw the article, I kind of sat back and I'm like waiting for certain people that I know to say something about it on social media. And everybody was all day, didn't say a word. So I'm like, is this legit or is this not legit? Because some of the people that I know, I think they would have talked more about it, especially because they talked about it so much that is derogatory and they should change the name. They won't say nothing on social media. So I was like, why ain't nobody saying nothing on social media about this? Because you the main ones that are against it, including me. But I was kept out of the dark until later. Yeah, until later. And then that's when I realized what happened. But yeah, so it all boils down to respect. That's it. Just respect. Just respect. Now, you do have some tribes they get okay, I'm thinking of Seminoles right now. And I believe it's a college or university down in Florida where I believe the school that I'm thinking about asked for permission to use a mascot and call it Seminole something, and they got the okay from the tribe. That's their prerogative. That's their prerogative to do that. But at the same time, I'm like, because I actually met a Seminole. He lives in the DMV area, but he's from Florida. And get this, he's from Florida. He's Seminole. And he attends Howard University. So when it comes to historically Black colleges, Howard is at the top of the list. Okay. It's a prestigious school. And so he actually attends it, and he's Seminole Indigenous American. And the question was asked in like a informal, conversation. Why is it that your tribe allows or gives permission for this school to use, the mascot and the Seminole name and everything? Why is that okay? Like, why did the tribe give them permission to do that? And in a roundabout way, he said that something to do with funding or whatever. Like, if you use the mascot, then, and if I'm not mistaken, if you use the mascot, then there needs to be some kind of program, scholarships, or what have you for Indigenous American students. So that was the trade-off. And I looked at my friend and I was like, I didn't say nothing. I just kept my mouth shut. I said to myself, but you're hanging around people like myself who are pro Washington Redhawks, changing the mascot, change the name, but you're coming from a community that's okay with allowing a school or university to have such a mascot, similar to the Red Hawk, aka R word Washington team. Now, I think he just started school at Howard. And I just started seeing him around the group of people that are definitely opposed to the Washington football's current name. So I thought that was kind of odd. Now, obviously, this guy's not in a tribal leadership position or anything like that. Maybe, just maybe, he will be for his community down in Florida. And maybe, just maybe, he'll have some kind of influence to change things down there. But he was just telling us, across the board how it is down there in Florida. So let me see if I can find a little bit of information. Now, this is Wikipedia. Let's see. Just kind of look around here. Okay, I'm doing a quick search here. Okay, I'm just speed reading right now. Okay. Frank. This is a Washington Post article back in 2014, by the way. I just jumped down to the subtitle. It says eliminating stereotypes. Okay. It says Roll also notes, and Roll, R-O-L-L-E, Let's see who that is, because I skipped around. Let's see. Roll. R.O. Lovey. Okay. Myron Roll, the 28-year-old former Florida State safety and Rhodes Scholar. Quote, it's a reverence where the spirit, the unconquered nature of the internal values and ethos of these people. FSU, which is Florida State University, tries to embody that. I love the way it's intertwined. Okay. When Rhodes sought to use his football stature to start a benevolent project, he consulted then University President T.K. Witherell, who suggested Rhodes look into the Seminole Tribe. Rhodes did so. He learned of obesity, hypertension, and type 2 diabetes in Native American children, made that his project, spent 100 plus days at the 3 South Florida Seminole reservations, lectured children about vegetables, became something of a local hero, and served as Grand Marshal in a parade. Across the Atlantic at Oxford, he wrote his Rhodes medical anthropology thesis about North America, titled The Native American Body, Internal and External Controls. It just fascinates me, this culture, he said. Okay, now underneath eliminating stereotypes. Roll also notes that his brother McKinley, a Florida high school football coach, graduated from St. John's, which is in New York, which in 1994 changed his nickname from Red Men to Red Storm. That joined the decades of nickname exodus that have included Dartmouth's Indians to Big Green, Stanford's Indians to Cardinal, Miami of Ohio, the R word to Redhawks, Syracuse, Orange men and orange women to Orange, Utah from the R word to Utes. When the University of North Dakota played the men's ice hockey Frozen Four last spring in Philadelphia, it brought along no nickname. North Dakota North Dakotan voters overwhelmingly nixed the name Fighting Sioux in 2012. A new name will appear in 2015. Now, again, this article is from 2014, so I don't know if that happened or not. So anyway, it says the same NCAA that aimed to scrub away the stereotypical granted a waiver to Florida State in 2005. It cited unique circumstances. Okay, let's figure out what they're talking about right here, because this is what that Howard University student was telling me. Okay, so let me see what they're saying in here. Those included a partnership that stretches from Tallahassee to the 6 reservations near the base of the state, including Hollywood, Britain, and Big Cypress. While the Seminole nickname dates back to 1947, the partnership accelerated in 1976 after Bolden arrived to coach and Durham arrived to dine one night at Bowden's house. The football program had no real national identity. When Durham suggested forging a tradition of a student horseman depicting the revered Chief Osceola with a seasoned student horseman riding out to the field with war paint and spear, and Bolden agreed, Durham consulted the tribe straight away. We're talking about the Seminole Tribe right now, for whoever's watching, in Florida. He asked Howard Tommy, the former tribal chairman, who said, quote, I'll have ladies here at the reservation make your first regalia for you. This is what the tribal chairman said back then. End quote. And so he did, Durham said. And he sent it on a Trailways bus. End quote. Through time and Seminole input, the university has made tweaks, including, Frank noted, the discontinuation of a Sooooo headdress for the homecoming king. Quote, lots of changes took place outside of the public view, Frank said. One of the things was there was a booster club, a group on campus that used to be called scalp hunters. And they were the ones at the football games who would paint your face on the way in. Really? Really? Wow. Now they're spirit hunters. I don't even know if that's any better, to be honest with you. The name was changed, became remarkably innocence. And I know there are groups out there that don't call themselves spirit hunters, but they are not the official group on campus anymore. And spirit hunters, how hard is that? End quote. Wrote Gopher, quote, FSU, that's Florida State University, in earlier times was showing the Seminoles in feathers and war bonnets, which they never wore, and with caricature faces. We were being stereotyped with what was seen on the movies and television. Now, Florida State University makes sure that the Seminoles are not depicted in a disrespectful manner in any way. They check with the tribe for accuracy of any changes they make. Okay, and then I'm going to just drop down a little bit here. It says, for decades, Bowdoin's Florida State brought the proper noun Seminole into national solemnity with victory, said Frank. Quote, all people have ideas about themselves, and Florida State plays into the same ideas that the tribe has, kind of their mega history, end quote. As James E. Billy, the chairman of the tribal council, said to CNN last January, so that would have been 2013, quote, anybody coming here into Florida trying to tell us to change the name, they better go someplace else because we're not changing the name, end quote. This is James E. Billy, chairman of the tribal council. I don't get that. I think there's some money involved, y'all. Somebody getting paid. And they don't care what it looks like. That's what I think. I think somebody's getting paid and they have no bones about it. None whatsoever. And I'm going to jump back to black folks for a minute. Black Americans. You have some Uncle Toms and Aunt Jemimas that probably feel the same way about X, Y, and Z if they were getting paid. Somebody like a Omarosa. Yeah. Rooting and tooting for her former boss, not once but twice. Remember, she got fired the first time on a reality game show, whatever you want to call it. He's not racist. I mean, it was like two different people were talking. When she got what she wanted, she played the game. When the game ended for her, then all of a sudden she woke up. And then all of a sudden she's offended by X, Y, and Z. But wait a minute. Weren't you an Aunt Jemima? Now all of a sudden, now you're offended. Yep. You got them Uncle Toms and them Aunt Jemimas. And this is what that sounds like to me. But anyway, you do have tribal communities that I believe they're getting paid. And as long as they're getting that check cut or that wire sent to them, or members of their community are getting free rides to go to that school, you can go ahead and have that mascot and do the whole tomahawk or whatever chant. My school is paid for. We getting a check. So whatever. It happens, y'all. It happens. So, and I find it interesting because the dude that I was talking about that is going to Howard University, he's going to Howard University. He's not going to in-state, Florida University. And I thought that was kind of odd that he chose to go to a historically Black university to get his education or higher education. And the way he answered the question about the mascot with the Florida State University and his tribe and how the tribal leadership felt about it, he was very nonchalant about it. Like it wasn't a big deal. And he was like, yeah, because whenever they do anything, whenever that school does anything, they have to go through the Seminole Nation. They can't just do whatever. They have to get the okay. Just because they got the okay from a tribal leader, that doesn't mean it's okay. But, that's how they do things. And it's funny because several months later, he sent me a friend request on Facebook. And a friend of mine, a very good friend of mine, told me that he sent her a private message trying to holler. But she didn't, she didn't. I think she might have blocked him or something from Facebook. Yeah. So that's kind of weird, but whatever. Let's see. What else would I like to talk about before I end this video? I know I started early. So many people might be, in rush hour traffic or what have you. They're not home yet or whatever. But I wanted to go ahead and just get this video done a little bit earlier this time because I was able to do it earlier. Let's see. Anything else that's on my mind today? Let's see. Oh, I'm going to see Jill Scott the end of the month. She's going to be in the DC area the last weekend of August. So I'm going with my bestie and her sister. I'll give you guys the details when that happens. Next month, I am going to the Nottoway powwow. This powwow I always tell you guys about. And I'm also going to a powwow in Eastern Shore, Maryland. I believe it's not too far from, I'm trying to think of that. It's near Harriet Tubman's birthplace on the Eastern Shore. I'm not sure exactly how far it is from Harriet Tubman's birthplace, but it's on the Eastern Shore. So I'm going to that powwow next month as well. I'm not sure about the Meherrin powwow. That's in North Carolina. That's usually in October. I believe the first weekend in October. So I'm not sure about that. There's another powwow in Maryland that is in the Upper Marlboro area. That's in October as well. I'll be going to that. And The month of November is jam-packed with so many things pertaining to Indigenous American communities. So I'm sure I'll be going to the Baltimore powwow because that's every November. And there is a powwow in the Richmond, Virginia area. I believe it's organized by a Richardson. And if you're familiar with Hallowasaponi people and their surnames, Richardson is a very popular surname. So I think Hallowasaponi organizer. And for me, when I went years ago, it just was another Hallowasaponi powwow because everybody showed up. Most of the people were Hallowasaponi. Anyway, that's one in Richmond I'm probably not going to go to. Let me see what else. I'm planning a trip to Connecticut. I'm planning a trip to Connecticut, not to celebrate Thanksgiving, because I don't, but I wanted to see some family that I hadn't seen in quite a while. I guess the last person that died, I didn't show up at the funeral. So I feel like I should go up there and visit. I hadn't been up there in 21 years. It's been 21 years since I went to Connecticut. So I think I'll end up going to Connecticut and visiting family. And there is Fox something casino. Foxwoods, yeah. I might check out that casino. Foxwood Casino. That is ran, owned, or whatever by Indigenous American folks. Massachusetts Pequot people. Yeah, Massachusetts Pequot people. They're in charge of this bad boy. Foxwoods Resort and Casino. So even though I'm going up there to visit family that I hadn't seen in a while, I might swing by that casino. I have nothing against casinos. I just feel like in some situations there are opportunities to make revenue within your tribal community that's not linked to a casino, but I'm going to check it out. And I know someone who is Massachusetts Pequot. Sorry. That's cool. And I might see what's up. Because some of the people, they'll come down to DC for different things pertaining to Indigenous American rights and such like that. So I do see people who make that long ride down to DC that are from Connecticut. But you know, sometimes I would want to like travel and be in their territory sometimes. So that is something that I'm planning on doing in November. In December, not sure yet. That's still up in the air. I don't have anything planned as far as Indigenous type stuff. Let's see what else. Yeah, I don't have anything else to say, guys. This has been a quiet Friday afternoon, but that's okay. Hope all is well with you guys. Whenever you do watch this video after it is no longer live, again, I will be posting a link to that vegetarian or vegan cookbook. Again, check her out on YouTube. And what else? Let's go Redhawks. Let's go Redhawks. Let's go Redhawks. It's not that difficult. It's been done before. Just change the name. Hashtag change the name. Hashtag respect. That's all you got to do. Respect. So Be blessed. Be a blessing to others. Take care. And I'll see you next time. And there will definitely be a next time. Toodles, guys.